All
What
right.
up, ladies and gentlemen? Here with a incredible new interview, an interview that I've probably wanted to do for a while now. Ever since I saw Mr. Billy Joel in concert in 2021, I believe it were yeah, crazy 2021 or 2022.
Yeah.
Um, it was
Whereabouts?
a great show in Atlanta with
Oh, okay.
Lionel Richie and Sheryl
Mhm.
Crow.
Yeah, that was
So
fun.
I know
Yeah.
we were just hoping for Billy Joel, and then you get the lineup, and it's Billy Joel, and then another legend and another legend. But that was a credible night that got me really
Yeah.
hooked.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to have you, Mr. Chuck. Is it
Thank
Burgi?
Burgi, like a heart.
Burgi.
Yeah.
Mr. Chuck Burgi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
So we were talking about your mom before we started recording, and
Hmm.
you talked about how dedicated she was and how dedicated you are to her. Did she go to a lot of your shows?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now let's see. The last show she went to was probably uh Shea Stadium, 2008.
What a show to go to, though.
Yeah, no, it was great. She went to the Friday show where Paul showed up.
Mhm.
So that was it. And after that, she was already in a wheelchair, but she's pretty flagged from doing anything like that at this point. Yeah, I think Shay was her last show, and she's cool with that. She watches. We were just on this CBS broadcast of our 100th show of this particular run,
Mhm.
and she watched that. Turned up the volume as high as it could go on her TV, and she's really sight challenged, and she's deafer than I am, but she's hanging in. She's in good spirits. So yeah,
That's
she's
awesome to hear.
she and my dad were big fans of my high school band and my junior high band, and it was you know their support which gave me the freedom to start thinking I might be able to do this as a career. And you need that. I mean, if kids don't have the parents behind them, whether you want to, I don't care what you want to be. If your parents can't get behind that, then it's a real uphill battle, and you're struggling to do whatever it is that you think you want to do. And of course, people change all the time, but I was pretty sure by high school that I wanted to be doing this professionally. So she was great with that. So
And
do you
that,
play? I was asking you, do you
yeah.
play? What do you play?
Well, it's a weird story. Basically, I started playing piano when I was very young,
Uh-huh.
up until maybe eight, and or maybe not eight, 7, but I quit because piano was just so tiring to me, and it was a great foundation. And I
Right.
moved to violin, which I really honed in on.
Oh, wow.
But I classically trained violin, and then through COVID, basically I had nothing to do. I was really young, so we spent $200, got a really crappy small guitar that I broke in like a month. But
Okay.
I got a guitar and an amp, and then I played that so much, and I kept fixing it. I soldered it multiple times because the
Wow.
wiring was so bad
So,
on it.
so bad.
And I play it every day. Funnily enough, yesterday I went to go pick up my guitar again for the third time, and it was at like 9 o'clock at
Right.
night, and my cable was completely snapped. So I'm already out of money, but I think I'll need to shell some out to get a really nice
Uh,
cable.
Gear. It's
I
endless.
know
It's endless.
the
But
cable gods hate me because this is the third time this has happened.
so are you playing uh classical guitar pieces
No,
or
sir.
and rock and roll?
I I actually interviewed Mr. Gary Husband, who was Alan
Sure.
Holdsworth.
Oh, I'm very familiar with Gary's
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
He's also a
and
killer keyboard player.
incredible too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to focus more on the Alan Holdsworth, maybe Scott Henderson style. But at the
Okay.
same time, it's so inspiring to look at guitarists like Mr. Hami, even Mr. Gira, who do like a really unprofessional. Um, People call it the stumble. Like it's unprofessional. You don't think of it as lead sometimes, and
Right.
yet it sounds so girthy and earthy, and I
I
love
hear
that
you.
sound.
Give me 2 seconds. This is my contractor.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Dan, what's happening? Not yet. I'm actually doing a Zoom interview, and then I gotta go see mom for lunch. What are you up to?
I'm gonna take a semi down. I don't. It is what it is, man.
Are you gonna be here?
Yeah.
When? Because I'll be done around 11 and I'm gonna have to fly out of here. But I will assist you in getting things going.
Whenever let me know, probably like half hour, 45 minutes.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Uh,
Cool. Oh my God. Okay.
A day in the life. I mean, that's
Yeah.
cool. We got that on camera.
Sorry, it just
No.
yeah. It's
Do
just
you
a
get
lot.
calls often?
So this is my next door neighbor. He lives right across the street from me, and he's a general contractor. He's a third generation master carpenter. And we're in the process of doing something really horrible in my home. So he started assisting me yesterday, or I started assisting him because he's bigger, stronger. But I wasn't sure when he was returning. And he just called me now and was like, well, you ready for round two? And I'm actually not. So we'll figure that out. But I mean, the guy's a beast, and what I need to have done, I have a hole in my roof as we speak with a tarp
Oh,
over it, because we're taking down a basically a chimney that is going to be unused from now on. So anyway, it's
it's an
horrible.
interesting project.
Oh my God, it's horrible. I mean, I don't want to go near it, and I try to stay away. I don't go on my roof anymore. Too dangerous. I live on a hill, so if I were to fall off the long side, I got about 25-foot drop.
Yeah, no,
Can't do,
no.
can't do that. So anyway, that's it. But let's get back to you. Okay, so you're playing more jazz-like guitar,
Mm.
rock and roll with that chops flair kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's rewarding because I get to
Uh-huh.
jam out, and then with violin too. I mean, I've spoken to
Yeah.
people like Mark Wood, who
Oh,
invented the flying V violin
yeah.
as a
Oh,
rock summer camp. It's incredible.
mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Mark's ridiculously cool
he is.
and
Have you played with
super
him?
cool. I haven't played with Mark, but I've known him for years. Known him maybe 30 years.
Are you guys from like the same area in New York?
Well, I'm in North Jersey. So when I first met Mark, I was living in Manhattan practically every day. In fact, I lived in Manhattan for 20 years, but I met Mark prior to moving out there. I don't remember where, but through a bunch of other friends in the North Jersey area. Yeah, he was the guy on electric violin.
I
Uh,
think he still is. He's
he's
like
still so
amazing.
he has to be. He has to be. So yeah, I
And
mean,
how was the scene?
pardon?
How was the scene in Manhattan back then?
It was fun. It was really fun. I mean, I I was a schmo from North Jersey, man, and I started going in there long before I was able to drive. There was a really good bus route that I could take, and in 40 minutes I could be in the middle of town. Um, and back then I started uh, looking into how to hook up with people, and there was a newspaper called The Village Voice, and that came out weekly, and there was a newspaper uh, little place in my town that would sell that. So I bought it every week, look at it, start getting to know where the auditions were being held, and then started going in there just to find the place.
Mhm.
See musicians coming in and out, and then I eventually started trolling it and reading the weekly ads. I was in a rock and roll band in the area, so I was making a little bit of money, and then I was always looking to get into a better situation. So I did my first recording with a really well-known engineer named Shelly Yakis, and it was in a they advertised. They said, drummer needed for a session. We'll pay studio rates. Yeah. So anyway, it was booming. It was really exciting, and I wanted to get into the studio scene, but there were already guys that were so deeply into that that I managed to make a niche for myself. I met enough people so that they would call me to do what I did. And yeah, I made ends meet, and I kept getting into better bands, and it was a great place to. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't live in the proximity to Manhattan.
Mhm.
I don't think. I wouldn't have been on some of the albums I was on if I wasn't working with certain people, meeting managers, meeting other artists. You know, for instance, I ended up being in a band that was signed to CBS, uh, a band called Balance, and they were being produced. I was going to be on their second record. Their first album was produced by Tony Bon Jovi. That's John's cousin. So Johnny used to work as a night guy. I can't say janitor because he did a lot of things, but he would come in at midnight, and I got to know him, and I ended up playing on his first record because not only because of him, but because I met other people as well. And the person, his cousin did not produce the first record, but it was done at the power station, which is where he was working, where I was working, and it was the premier place to record, and kind of still is. It's owned by, I think, Berkeley School of Music now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think they bought it and made it a part of their stable of places to train and to have artists grow. But yeah, so New York was really fun back then, and yeah. Half of getting ahead in the business was just who you knew, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I certainly see that now. Even just walking into the industry, it's really just connections and like
absolutely. Always will be, always is. You know, you have to be able to do something. So you have to be able to, I don't know, get along with people, be prompt. You know, if you get a gig, there's so many things that can go wrong. Your attitude, your timeliness, your abilities. So you learn to navigate all that. And you know, I always wanted to be in a band. That was just my dream. I had bands in high school. We were covering everything from Jimi Hendrix, Cream, Led Zeppelin. And I just wanted to be in a band. And it turned out I've been in a million bands. You know, the Billy Band is the longest job, quote unquote, I've ever had, but it's also the longest I've been in a band. And that has pretty much, it's outshone anything I thought I could achieve. Being with those people who are all my favorite people and players, and also playing music that is classic. It's just timeless, unbelievable songs to have to play every night. Some of them are real hard. Some of them are not. They sound simple. If we do it well, it sounds simple. But you know, it seems like everything I've ever done up until this point has helped me do the Billy gig better. So, yeah.
yeah, and I gotta say, when I saw you guys, you know, it was in a stadium, and since we are middle class, we could not go down, be that close. We were in like the maybe the third balcony, so like
wow.
the cheap seats, and even watching there, the sound and everything was so tight. And
Right.
Prior to that, I think maybe 2 years before, I remember distinctly saying, because we were trying to see what other concerts would we want to go to. And
Right.
my dad said, well, he loves Billy Joel. So he said, let's go to see Billy Joel. And I said, I can't even name one Billy Joel song.
Yeah.
And then yeah, here we were 2 years later singing. I was so excited. I was really hoping you guys would open with A Matter of Trust, because you guys were doing it around, and you opened with A Matter of Trust. And I rose out of my seat and I was so happy. It was like a religious experience. It truly was.
That's cool.
I mean, I cannot wait for you guys to stumble back into Atlanta. Hopefully, it won't
So
take
you're in
another
LA, right?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh, okay. That's right.
sir.
That's right. Because we did that big, I'm trying to think of the name of that Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, that was where it was. All right. Yeah, I don't know when we'll be back. we're all kind of waiting to see what Bill will agree to for next year. The garden franchise is going to come to an end next month, and that will free up the equipment and us to do more adventuresome stuff. We've had to, wherever we go, we've had to come back to do a garden. So the gear, at least, the band gear and stuff's got to be flown back and forth, real expensive. Whereas once the garden's done, we can gear can be sent out and stay out. Doesn't have to come back anymore. So it should be fun. Should be really fun.
Are you gonna miss the garden?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's an incredible venue. The people that work there are great. I think it's the best sounding venue we've ever played. And the crowds are second to none. I mean, they really are. There's nobody wilder, more enthusiastic about Billy or the band. And I can't tell because I use in-ears, but other members of the band who don't and use monitors say it's just the best sounding room too. So it's become like our office, our home away from home, once a month for the last over 10 years. Pretty crazy. So
I know. I was lucky enough to go to New York City for I think 3 days with my family, and I was hoping I'd get to go see a show or at least go to the arena, but my parents had other plans, so I never got to go. I'm hoping one day I will get to see it's so legendary. It's insane. I don't think a venue has those stats, those artists. Like Tool just played there. They constantly get the top of the top acts. I mean, you guys been playing there for what, like 10 years?
Yeah. Once a month.
Crazy.
10 years. So I'm well past 100 shows, 100 sellouts myself. Billy will be on July 25th. He will play his 150th consecutive sellout lifetime at the Garden. So he thought that was a good number to just kind of stop for now, right?
Do you think you guys would ever go back to it?
Yeah, I'm sure we will. But I think they have other plans. I can't share anything yet because nothing is written, in stone. Of course, it always changes. But I think they have plans for next year in this tri-state area, which, if they come to fruition, would be really fun. So we'll see. We'll see.
So
But, we've got work all through next year if Billy wants to take it all over the world. So
that sounds great.
Excuse me.
So the Gardens, it's MGM, the company that owns the Garden, also owns another venue that's been making some headlines, which I'm sure you heard of, called the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Would you guys ever consider that?
Apparently it doesn't hold that many people. I think it holds 7,000 people, something like that. And I don't know, Billy's had and understandably has had a aversion to we've played in Vegas, and we're actually going to be playing at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, with Sting, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going back there, but that gives our production is big. I don't know if we would go into that smaller venue. I really don't. I mean, after he had the opportunity of doing something like that in Vegas, and he chose the Garden as that came about, and that ended up being our residency. So I don't know if a one-off would make any sense to do the Sphere. I'm hoping, but you never know, because it looks like it'd be really a cool place to play. Don't know.
I know the weird thing about the Sphere is that you have these massive artists playing, but I certainly get what you mean, because also I can imagine the nightmare it'd be for Las Vegas residents and for fans who are there who want to get tickets, because I bet they'd go in an instant.
Sure.
That's what I've heard about with Dead and Company and Fish, is you have to buy them off resale and you lose so much money. It's terrible.
Yeah. Yep. So it remains to be seen. I kind of feel like that type of venue that has the state of the art, I don't know, like a built-in light show to the actual uh, form, the actual building itself, that might end up becoming the wave of the future for new places that get constructed. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know how they did it. I've seen pictures. I've seen some videos of U2 when they were there in their residence.
Yeah.
And it looks like an incredibly immersive and a visually overwhelming thing. So we might do a short run there. Who knows? I really don't know.
Yeah.
But that size audience, I don't know if it really will be feasible financially, but that's not for me to worry about. No.
Yeah, no,
I would love to play there.
it would be very cool to have those kind of venues in the future. But at the
Mhm.
same time, like in Atlanta, we have the Fox Theater, which is a 5,000 person venue.
Oh, I love.
And I've seen one concert there. It was sold out. I was in the way back. It was the best
Mhm.
concert I've been to. I mean, the sound is
Yeah.
probably just as good as the Garden,
Yep.
and you can see the artist
It's
how
a
far you may be.
beautiful old
It's incredible.
theater. I think I first played there to date myself back in 1977.
Who did you play with?
Al Di Meola,
Okay, yeah.
back in my more fusion-y, busy, I call it lead drummer days. But yeah, so that was a beautiful venue, gorgeous place. The
Definitely
Fox
is.
Theater in Atlanta. They had a bunch of them. I think most of them have closed down, but that's still one of the flagships of
Yeah.
that whole series. They were all over the country. I think St. Louis, Chicago had one. And in any case, I was lucky to play a couple of them before most of them closed. And certainly I played that one. That was gorgeous.
I know it really is incredible because I've been to like small clubs are also really nice,
I love
but
small clubs.
there's
You
no adornment,
Right.
and the
Yep.
sound can sometimes be a little chalky depending on where you are.
Oh yeah.
But like in a theater, it's just like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
such a thick, luscious sound.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, your legacy, right? You've worked with some of the biggest bands to date, legendary bands, Rainbow, Mr. Joel, Hall and Oates. I'm trying to think of more, but I mean, it's like incredible. The list goes on and on and on. What's one band you would like to play with before the
That
end of your career? I know you've played with everyone too, so.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's actually a potpourri. You know, you're asking me, so who would I like to play with now that I haven't
Yes,
played
sir.
with? Yeah, man, that's tough. I mean, so it feels like I've gone full circle in my career. I started listening to the Beatles. That was really the first thing that got me on the road of wanting to be a musician. And then I had a long time where I could think of nothing but being really crazy busy jazz like on drums. So I listened to all the jazz greats and fusion-y greats back then, Billy Cobham, Tony Williams, Jack DeJohnette. In any case, then I got back into rock and roll. So, to me, Billy is like a Beatle from America. And I guess the only other thing would be maybe to play with Paul McCartney. Because I'm really into songs again, right? I'm really into songs. And I'm blessed to be working with, to me, the finest American songwriter. So that has been incredibly fulfilling for these over 18 years that I've been with him. But I would think maybe Ringo. Ringo's the drummer, so I would say Paul McCartney. That might be the only other singer-songwriter that really it would rival playing with Billy in terms of the songs that he's got. That's it. And I don't think about that because really playing with Billy is not only so fulfilling, but it's still such a challenge. we don't play that often. And we do a show once every 10 days. And they're all huge. So
Yeah.
it's not like there's any ramping up, we're gonna be in a club, get it together. We just get together and rock out. And that's easy, but it's also a big challenge. I gotta stay in shape. I gotta keep my calluses from dwindling and cutting myself and when I play. And so because we don't perform that much, that's got its own challenges. So I think, yeah, maybe Paul McCartney would be the only thing that really comes to mind at this point. I don't work on what used to be my jazz chops. I never really had a ton of them. But I mean, I still work on stuff musically on the drums that I'll probably never use with Billy. I certainly won't use with Billy, but just keep myself happy and trying other stuff. Uh, I used to want to be a funk drummer, and I've done so little of that. Funk R&B. I've done so little of that in my career. It's mainly been rock and roll. Boom, cat, boom, boom, cat, boom, cat, boom, boom, cat. So I still work on stuff that makes me happy and makes me feel like I'm maybe growing still, but it's stuff I'll never use with Bill. And that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we said Billy Cobham. He just finished up his 50th anniversary tour, I believe it was 50th or 40th, with Mr. Husband in
Oh, wow.
they were
Was
in
Gary
Europe
playing
somewhere.
keys?
I'm not sure. I think he was doing drums and keys, which is
Okay,
like
yeah, that
insane.
would make sense. Yeah, Billy's, one of my heroes. I haven't seen him in 30 years. I met him a couple of times in Manhattan when he was playing with Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
And yeah, still playing, still kicking ass, and that's kind of all you can do, man. What else?
Yeah.
Once you've been doing music, I don't see, unless you're actually getting into a visual art, like painting and drawing, whatever, sculpting. It's all kind of the same type of expression, but once you've been playing, man, I don't see retiring from playing.
That's
It's,
impossible.
yeah, it's very impossible. I mean, look at the Stones. Like, they might not have been out for quite a while, but they're back out again. And I think some of them are definitely in their 80s.
Oh yeah, and they look awesome. And so do you. You look great.
Thanks. I'm old. I feel good though. And that's kind of all that really matters at this point. Um, yeah, just trying to stay healthy. I'm surprised I'm still alive. I did my best in the 80s to just quietly kill myself looking back, but it was fun. But I'm lucky to be here and feeling good. So that's, to me, that's what life is all about, is just staying healthy at this point. I value what I'm doing, how I do it, and being able to do it as completely as I want to, probably more than anything at this point. So it's cool.
Which is, yeah, and again, you look awesome. My mom always yells at me because sometimes I'll go on eating sprees where I'll just eat everything and I'll eat no veggies. Like I yesterday, no, the day before, my meal was ramen and then a full like frozen cake that you get from Publix. That was my dinner, which was
Wow.
great. But she
All
was
right.
yelling at me. She was not happy with me. And I mean, you know how moms are. Like she cares, and
Sure.
that's yeah. At the same time, I kind of want to rebel, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
hungry. But
you're, so how old are you? 14?
yes, sir.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you've got a bunch more rebellion years
Oh
in.
yeah, I know. It's already
And,
starting with the shows because I'm getting invited to shows now. Like I'm getting
mhm.
guest listed to shows, and the issue is now I'm getting guest listed to multiple shows a month. And my mom's agreement with me was 6 shows a year. So I'm kind of screwed because
You're
like
gonna
in
bust out
September,
of that real quick.
yeah, in September there's 2 shows, in October there's 2 shows, in November there's like three.
Right.
I'm so done for.
Wow.
But I'll figure that out with her.
Well, you'll look back and thank mom.
Oh
Now,
yeah, I already do.
you don't have a band at this point, right?
I've got an incredible drummer um named Jack, and he's
Okay.
maybe 20 minutes from me, and he's actually in scouts with me. That's how I met him.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so me and him jam sometimes. We've had a couple sleepovers. I need to have him over sometime though, because I haven't played with him in a good couple of months.
Yeah. You know, I mean, even a guitar and drums, I mean, that's how Metallica began. They didn't have the other guys. You know, they just started working together.
And I
So
love the simplicity.
that's plenty. Guitars and drums, that's plenty.
Oh,
Plenty
it
to
is.
with, yeah.
And when
So
you're in a room with just a drummer, your ears are like rattling. And I don't know if you've seen Swans live, and
right.
you were in New York, but
Mhm.
Swans is just like standing next to a drum set without earplugs. Like I
Yeah,
could
no,
hear
yeah.
everything rattling.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. I did that for far too long. And looking back, I wish I had cared for my ears a lot better than I did.
Mm. Yeah, with violin, the when you play, you're kind of your ears right next to the strings,
Yeah.
and there usually is nothing I can do about it because if I put earplugs, I kind of mess up my intonation a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. I was going to say that that definitely would interfere, I would think.
Yeah, so with guitar, I like to turn up my guitar, so I wear earplugs. When
Right.
I'm next to drums, when I'm at concerts, I wear earplugs, sometimes multiple pairs of earplugs. But with violin, that's what's screwing up my hearing. Like
Yeah.
I can hear the ghost of as Michael Gira said, the ocean is in his ear. I hear the
Mhm.
ocean in my ear, and it's slowly getting there, but I do
Yeah.
my
You don't
best.
want that. I hear I hear a herd of locusts in my ear, as well as the ocean. So
Not as calming.
yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
But
Uh,
as another guy, incredible bassist I spoke to, Mr. Barlow said, he meditates with it. Do you meditate with your noises in your ear?
yeah, sure. My ears ring all the time at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
They scream. And you know, if I can get a little more time, there are supposedly ways to lessen the sounds, but I haven't. I've learned to live with it. So
Yeah, it's a part of life.
yeah, and we're playing. I mean, I play loud every 10 days. I'm broadcasting from my little studio here, and I go under the headphones as often as I can. And you know, I have to be able to hear well enough to be comfortable. Same with any of the bands I play with, and that volume is pretty loud, you know, just to compensate for the fact that my ears aren't in great shape anymore. So it's a constant cycle. It's not like I get to rest my ears much, if at all. So
I
yeah,
mean, but again, I think busyness is the name of the game here.
you
Like
know, it
I do
helps.
I do interviews. I've done once I did two interviews in a day back to back. I've
Mhm,
done probably I've been on break. So now I'm doing interviews every single day for like a 5 day stretch.
mhm.
And it's great. Like today I slept at 3 a.m. and I woke up at 9:50 to run down here and do this interview.
Nice.
And I was so tired, but it feels great. I feel
Yeah.
great. I may go
Yeah.
back to sleep, but I feel great.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, to me, the older I get, I like being busy. I like staying engaged. I like staying physically active. And one of the things about playing drums is I've had to stay active and in shape to be able to do it. So that goes hand in hand. But you know, I think the alternate to not being busy, especially busy doing mainly stuff I like, because I love working around my house. I love practicing. I love playing. I just there's never enough time in the day at this point. I have way too much I want to be doing and accomplishing. And as early as I get up, I still feel like at the end of the day, like, man, I barely scratched the surface. But I think
That's a
that's
it's a
the
great
story of
motivator,
life. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have time for one more question. So
Sure.
I'm gonna do a really big question for you, okay?
Yeah.
And it's up to your interpretation. You have to give me three of something. So it could be three artists, three books, uh, three records, or it could be a book, a record, uh, and whatever. It's completely different categories. Three that can change someone's life,
Wow.
and it's to you.
Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna say Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix as a piece of music to change someone's life. I would say also maybe The Secret of Light by Walter Russell. And I would say any book by Walter Russell will, this was an amazing thinker from the early 1900s. And so that's a book. That is a piece of music. And what was, so
One more thing. Could it be like a favorite show or a favorite venue, maybe?
Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
That's a great one. They still video that on YouTube, and I watch it like relatively often.
Yeah, they're very, I think they did All My Loving, or She Loves You. But I know so many of my fellow players watched that show as I did, and nothing that came before it had any of the impact that them being on that show did. It changed my life instantly to see four guys doing something so cool as making music, right? Because I'd grown up around music, but I'd never seen it presented in such a cohesive, intense sonically and intense visually. They looked like they were having the best time. They looked like they were dressed to the nines, and that blew my mind. That changed my life entirely. And so, you know, I was trying to think of something cinematic that I've seen that had a similar impact, but really, you know, seeing them on Ed Sullivan changed my life and so many people as well, that I thought I'd go back to music again, because that's the power it's got. But yeah.
Well, what an awesome three. Thank you so much for getting on the show and doing this with me.
You're
I
so
really
welcome,
appreciate
man.
it.
We should do it again.
Oh, yeah.
If you feel like it.
Next time we got to do it in person, though, okay?
Oh, I would love that.
So next time you're in Atlanta, maybe next time I'm in Jersey, if I ever am,
Sure.
we'll definitely meet up, because we
You're
got a
here.
jam, right?
You bet. You're here in New York. You're anywhere near here. If I'm home, I'll come get you, bring you back here for an afternoon.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to get kicked out by Zoom, but thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You bet. Thank you again. Hi, and good luck. Keep going. Keep
Thank you,
riding.
sir. I will.
All right.
I'm going to see you in Atlanta, okay?
All right. Keep in touch.
All right, keep in touch. Bye-bye.